Okay, here we go. This story is a follower submission. It is a cake reward story, and it is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Making a Butt Cake for My Nephew? That's butt, B-U-T-T cake, not bunt, butt cake. I, 38 female, make cakes as a side gig. I'm a teacher by day, but baking is a passion of mine, so I take 2 or 3 cake orders per month from friends and family who want a cake for one reason or another. I've done this for several years, so many of my friends and family call me for every occasion. My sister-in-law recently asked me to bake a cake for her nephew's 4th birthday, and of course I agreed. It was a Ninja Turtle themed party, so the two of us brainstormed several fun turtle cake ideas, but she ultimately left the design up to me. Later that afternoon, I asked my nephew what kind of cake he wanted for his birthday, expecting an answer in the form of flavor. But being a 4-year-old boy, his answer was that he wanted a butt cake. Cool. So I asked him again later on, and again he said a butt cake. What cartoons is this kid watching? As the party date approached, I made a point to call them and ask to speak directly with my nephew and ask him again what kind of cake he wanted for his birthday. I was careful to explain that he'd be getting a cake that looked like a Ninja Turtle, but I needed to know what flavor he wanted it to be. Again, though, he insisted that he have a butt cake for his birthday. Now, I'm not usually one to deliver a cake that is not exactly as ordered, but I also love a good challenge, and really, I think the birthday boy should be the one who decides what kind of cake he gets anyway, so I made the boy a butt cake. Now are we talking about flavor or shape? I'm confused. I had a feeling that if I told my sister-in-law what I was doing ahead of time, she would veto the butt cake and force my nephew to settle for the turtle cake instead, so I didn't say a word. I just showed up the day of the party with a perfectly perky, bootylicious butt cake. It was glorious. 2 supple cheeks, 1 chocolate, and 1 apple. Get it? Apple bottom. With a silky caramel buttercream icing. To say my nephew loved it would be an understatement. He was ecstatic. He squealed and giggled and was jumping up and down. I know deep down that he was just testing me to see if I'd pull through for him, giving him something silly just because he'd asked for it. Well, I'm here for you, buddy. Auntie's got you. His mom, my sister-in-law, on the other hand, was not happy. She was actually pretty pissed. She said that it was inappropriate that her parents and grandparents would be at the party and would not appreciate this level of vulgarity, especially with it being a 4-year-old's party. She said she was embarrassed and refused to let anyone actually see the whole cake. We just cut it in the back and served it already sliced. She didn't talk to me for the entire party and hasn't spoken to me much since. It's been about 3 weeks now, and I have apologized to her several times. Am I the astronaut for giving my nephew the epic butt cake that he asked for? This is a follower-submitted story. I mean, I feel like kids decide on crazy things, right? And yes, you want to give him some say in what his cake is going to end up being, but there's also a point of something being ludicrous to the point of, okay, well, I can't do that. I can't do something crazy here, like give you a booty cake in front of an entire family with parents and grandparents and that kind of stuff involved. I mean, it just isn't the smart choice, letting a child choose those kinds of things. And again, you were trying to ask him what kind of flavor he wanted, and he kept responding butt cake, which is where the whole is this flavor or appearance thing came from. You were trying to get the flavor out of him, and he kept pushing for this. But he's 4. He doesn't know the ramifications of what he's saying here. He doesn't know the ramifications of you actually showing up with that. So I feel like you should have known better. You did know better. There was a lot of risk involved with following through with this. And and you're not the astronaut to him, but you are to a lot of people there. So it will be a funny story whenever he's older, but think about being the parent in this role and somebody showing up with a booty cake for your 4-year-old kid. I'd be embarrassed too. And I'd be like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Actually, our family's all pretty fun and understanding, and they would probably laugh about it too. But being a parent who is, going to wheel this out and sing happy birthday and want pictures of this to have for a while, yeah, I would think that this person would be an astronaut for doing this without clarifying with me first. Kid's 4. Like, come on. I mean, it's definitely a 4. You definitely should have. I think it's at least a 3. It may be a 2. You definitely shouldn't have done that. Let's say should have done it differently, because should have consulted with the parent first, let them know what was going on so that it wasn't a surprise, so that it wasn't a shock whenever you showed up with it. I'm at a 3 here. I'm sure it was funny to everybody else involved, but to the parent, Like you feel ultimately responsible for everything that happens that day, right? So it would be hard not to view that person as an astronaut. It is funny, but man, if it was my kid that this had happened to, I would have been pissed. Now, a backup cake would have been a damn good idea. And if OP had made a backup cake and shown up with that, all good. Because then you don't have to show the family the booty cake. But it ain't what happened.